They think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wanted to fight me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Welcome to Body Work. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, I had Torch 1 quite some time ago, and this is Torch 2. That's why I had to go with the blue. So I had to get that together, but man, we got late breaking news. Yikes! Oh man, how befitting, man, is it that I had chose this torch with the blue flame, man? Let's be frank. Frank don't look too hot, man. And I think he about to get the hottest part of the flame. Is blue the hottest part of the flame? The hottest part of the flame is the base. So this typically burns with a different color to the outer edges or the rest of the flame body. Blue flames are the hottest, followed by white. After that, yellow, orange, and red are the common colors you'll see in most fires. And I believe that this man is about to get that torch. You know, ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I believe that something bad is gonna happen to Frank, man. I've been saying this man is a 140 pounder, and I think he need to get to where he needs to go. And I was looking at all the cards and all the fights, and I'm like, man, it's so many fights, and that's not even to include, you know, the other fight. But you got Carlos Adames, Terry Goucher, Gary Antoine and Pueblo, Elijah Garcia versus Kyron Davis, Romain Villa versus Ricardo Salas, Mark Mexayo versus Eduardo Ramirez, Benavidez and Vosdick, Tank and Frank. So I was starting to try to break down these fights, and I was like, man, Mark Mexayo, I typically believe that he was like a hype job. You know, I think Mark Mexayo was a hype job. I don't even believe that he actually beat Mr. Gary Russell Jr. You know, that's just being honest. That man beat that man with one hand. Eduardo Ramirez, he's striking me as a tweener. Even though when he first came down, he was at 50, but he's a tweener. He goes between weights. So I'm not sure about that fight. Romain Villa, I didn't even know what he was doing. Ricardo Salas looked like they ordered special delivery for the takeout. Elijah Garcia, you know, he is explosive. He got power. Kyron Davis, he's been tested. He's been in the ring with some big names. He was prepared for this. I think he was prepared for it, even though it was short notice last time. He was kind of prepared for it, and I think now he's even more prepared. None of that last minute things and this and this and this, like Ron Davis. And I call Stephen Breadman Edwards E.F. Hutton, the E.F. Hutton of boxing. When that man talk boxing, I be listening. You know, so I try to listen to him, and that's his fighter. That's his guy. So deep down, I want Breadman to have success. Therefore, I'm guessing I want Kyron to have success. But we are a real channel. This is those fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. So I'll be a fool to be able to say that Elijah Garcia don't have that kind of power to where he could probably change the fight in a moment's notice. If he think this young boy is sweet, he does like the bang. I seen him like bang, like I seen him go wrecking ball style, mano a mano, Mexican style, and stand there and trade off like rock'em sock'em. I'm looking for Kyron Davis to show us the specialness that him and Breadman been working on, and I'm ready for that cream to rise up out of that pot on his way to the top, because he done had a lot of shots. Not a lot of shots, but he done had shots, but he always kind of been hamstringed with the short notice. So I'm looking for Kyron Davis to get busy. What better card than this? Carlos Adames versus Boucher. I believe Adames can be outboxed. I believe he can, but if he get to hitting you and battering you with that right hand, if you don't know how to fight him, which he tends to lay it on you, and then in the later rounds when you just tired of fending him off, he tend to just start clubbing you with that right. And if he catch you, he's high octane. You know, he's gonna jump on you. He's gonna batter you with that right hand if he can. But if you know how to pivot away from it and box, stick and move, you know, let's not forget, Boucher did drop the Australian Tim Tszyu. He did drop him before Tim Tszyu got up off the canvas, and he was like, all right, hold on, let me get my wits about me, and then did his thing. But Boucher is nothing to shake a stick at. Is veteran savvy. They both look excellent at the weigh-in. Gary Antoine versus Puello. I'm kind of divided, because I know the height and the size and the reach and all that. I know that can be manipulated by what you find online, but when I look at this Alberto Puello, I say, hold on, man. He actually had the belt. Said him and his lady was trying to conceive, you know, and it's like, well, if you're gonna get caught with something like that, and it actually happened that you do have a child, it's like, the whole thing is Gary Antoine is like, look, man, we aware of that, we aware of this. I ain't gotta be concerned about that. You know what I'm saying? My job to do was in the best of my capabilities and come through with the master plan. My plan is to execute. And so a lot of people, man, it's a lot on Gary Antoine's shoulders, even though he probably don't feel like it, because, you know, he was built under pressure. He come from a legacy name, but it is pressure because, you know, a lot of people have, you know, high expectations for Gary Antoine, for him to continue to do his thing. Even when I was talking to my old head earlier. I called my old head, checked up on him, and he said, "Yeah, I know Gary Antoine." He said, "I know you high on Gary Antoine. I know you want him to be successful." And I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "You know," he's like, "Yeah, you know." He's like, I hear how you talk about him and what you think." I'm like, "Yeah, he just part of the Russell family, man. You gotta respect him, man." And I try to respect all these guys that's out here on this side. A lot of the guys that's on the East Coast, a lot of the guys that just be casualties, you know what I'm saying, of war when it comes to like all these political factions that they have on YouTube, which runs YouTube Boxing Talk. But let me not get into that as I digress. Puello presents some challenges for Gary Antoine. He does. Me and Koki was talking about it one time, and I was just like, man, he's tall, like, and they got him listed at 5'8" and 5'8". Now I'm 5'10", but they got them two listed as 5'8" or 5'8" and 5'9", and this dude look like he around about 6 foot. He looked like he might be actually taller than me. So I'm like, but then when I seen him, when you watch his fights, it looked kind of awkward, but I seen him recently, man, and the dude knows how to move his feet. He's not going to run around and prance around the ring, but the dude knows how to pivot. He knows how to sit down. It looks like he every now and again, it looked like in one of the fights I was watching, it looked like he get up on his punch. He might smother his punches, but technically and with the reach, and I believe from the looks of things, now I'm not a part of that precious fraternity of boxers that got in the ring before. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. But it looks like he has respectable power. You know, I might could tell you about a sandbox. I might could tell you about Iraq. I cannot tell you about stepping inside the ring. Let me be transparent about that. So, as I continue to give my opinion, it looks like Puello knows how to pivot. He knows how to use his angles. If he is disciplined, he uses his height and his reach, much like how post style. And this was a post style with a heavy heart. This was a post style that was, a little long in the tooth. But when we look at it, that fight that Gary Antoine had with him, it kind of went to the last minute, and some people were saying, why they stop it? But you know what I'm saying? It did, because at that point in time, Post Style didn't deserve to get that punishment right at the end like that. So the ref, you can argue that, okay, cool. But that was a taller, longer ranger who fight behind the stick. Like, if this dude stays disciplined, we're going to see what Gary Antoine is always talking about. He say when he going for the job, just like me, I do HVAC. When I go in for the job, especially when you do both sides, when you doing stuff on the heating side and you doing stuff on the cooling side, you got to have special equipment. So most people have a skeleton or skeleton of tools that's going to work on either or. But then it's like, okay, you might have to go back to the truck and grab this. If you're dealing with that, you might have to go get the gauges, or you might have to, if you do analyzing, I don't do the analyzing, but if you do analyzing on the brawlers, you might have to go get an analyzer and come back in there and do something. So you might have to go back and get another tool. This guy, Puello, with this moment and the fact that he probably has feelings about this belt. Now, he did pop hot. Whether we want to give him granted permission for, trying to have a child, which was what I've researched and saw. Him and the lady was trying to have a child. They wound up being successful in having a child. I'm like, okay, cool. You lost your belt. You right back at it. He probably feels some kind of way because that was his belt. He actually held that belt. So we're looking at this man wanting to get what was his, because a lot of people was questioning about Rolly getting knocked out by Tank, getting up there and getting a shot right at that belt. And then the decision with Tony Weeks calling that fight and him actually achieving that belt. That was Puello's belt. Gary been hard hat, lunch pail, blue collar, digging, grinding, maybe a sprinkle of inactivity, but given the circumstances around Big Papa, hey, you know what I'm saying? I remember when I lost my mom at 24, you know what I'm saying? They handled it a lot better than what I did for the 6 months that I had to get it together and, understand that, hey, life goes on. So this guy might actually make Gary Antoine Russell dig down in that toolbox. I call him the butcher in my boxes to watch collection. And Puelo might just make this man dig down in the toolbox. It just is all in how he's coming, if he's disciplined. You know, I was looking at him like, man, I was looking at the chin like, man, if I touch that chin one time, you going to sleep. I know Gary, he probably, because he more brutal. I think he bring more of the brutal. I think not that Mr. Gary was finesse, but I think Mr. Gary liked to set up the combinations and, you know what I'm saying, set it up to where when he finally go down to that body and then come up with that right hook that he used to come up with from hell, he used to come up and it used to be so crispy. If you didn't have your hand up and he catch you clean, you going down. That was Mr. Gary. Gary Antoine is a more, I call it penitentiary. He will get up on you. He will press you. He not going to let you breathe. He's not going to let you move. He's going to suffocate you. You know, I mean, you know, this guy might have a stick that keep him off him for a little while. Gary Antoine might have to figure out how to pick that lock, how he going to get in to do his best work. Or we going to see a technical side where we get to see, you know what I'm saying, the boxing style and him setting it up for the knockout. I think that this is a sneaky good fight. This might be, you know, aside from the main event, it has potential to be one of the fights of the night. And then I talk about Benavidez and Vosdick. I'm in chats, mainly the ones that pertain to the fight, like the professional ones where they got moderators and people can't just, even though people do spam the chats there, like real moderators. I'm talking about the events. But when I actually was looking at Benavidez and Vosdick, I was thinking, man, you know, I see one side of him saying, all right, David Morrell got to do something. But then the mano a mano apex predator in me is like, if you're a predator, if somebody's in your division, you want to see. So Benavidez had his eyes on Canelo at that division. He got his eyes on Beterbiev and Bivol at the next one. It's like, man, I'm not going to go back and forth with people about it. I mean, I don't understand it. I'm like, man, it's the reason why they don't want to fight the talented Mr. David Morrell. I'm not going to lie. I got him in my top 3 most avoided boxers in boxing, to include Subriel Matias and Boots. You know what I called them 3. When I speak about them 3 in the video, they are called the untouchables. Because nobody, like, everybody say a lot of stuff and they do this and they, oh man, yeah, and this, but those 3 guys, they come up with the most times where somebody is saying no, or somehow that was never an option, or somehow, some way, them guys. But when Benavidez went through Caleb Plant, and then Benavidez went through Demetrius Andre, that's when he finally gained my respect. After that, I said, man, I can't, you know, unless it's David Morrell, Bivol, you know what I'm saying, David Morrell or Bivol, unless it's them 2, I'm done doubting Benavidez until proven otherwise. He's made it to my until proven. Some people make it to my until proven otherwise. Once you show me so much, if you are who you are, and you are who you are when you get in that ring, and you showing me that you are that night, that you are who you are. Like, typically, I don't see nothing wrong with you. You look good. You going in, and you are who you. It's until proven otherwise. That's the status that David Benavidez has reached for me. I got tired of being the one, because I was hard on him when with the 2 instances. Just like when they was hard on Tank, just like when they was hard on Shakur, I was hard on him just the same way, saying, oh man, you know, this and this and that. Like, man, come on, y'all. Like, we can't just overlook this. And I was catching all that flack. And every time I thought Plant had the feet, I thought he had the better feet. It's just something about that dude who, I guess his punches hurt a little bit more than what you expect. They slow you down. You know, they be like, hey, man, like, you're not just going to get in there and just move around this dude, because everywhere he touch you, I imagine it probably hurts. So Plant, I was sure. I was like, oh, man, Plant going to box circles. Like, he going to use his feet. No, the Mexican Monster did his thing. When I was like, oh, okay, well, boo-boo, man, this dude, Olympian, you know, he, you know, that, hey, he stick and move. He, you know, aqua style, like, He just been waiting on his opportunity other than the Jamel stuff. He just waiting like Benavidez proved me wrong. Did him nasty. Did him bad. I say, hey, man, I'm done. Hey, I can't. Hey, Benavidez proved his way to me. So until I see otherwise, the only thing, man, is this dude looking like he's there. He looking like he's not coming just to like, oh, you know what I'm saying, just come down and get up under a blankie or something. He ain't coming to pop out no cot. I'm thinking, man, this dude, he's very coy because he's very professional, very respectful. You know why? Hey, why rile up the bear? Why mess with the sleeping dog? You dealing with a monster, so it's up to him for the monster to come out. But why rile it up prematurely when you got a real plan? It looked like he's in good shape. Only thing is, like they said, he took off 4 years. The inactivity and all that, he came back, and I was looking at inactivity and all that. And sometimes it plays a part. You know, for the most part, it does play a part. It really does. We seen with Cody Crowley, and then the eye, and we seen with Earl, and then the eye, and then, you know, both of that was just inactivity. Doused in inactivity. That's a real factor. That's going to show up. David Benavidez is one of the most active boxers in boxing, especially with the biggest name that he has. So, activity versus inactivity, yeah, Benavidez got him, but those niggas know, you know, I don't know what caused him to step away for 4 years. I don't know what kept him focused. I don't know how far down he went. Physically, he looked like he in good shape. I try to go back and look at some of his fights and what's happening. I know he lost to Beterbiev and all that, but he's a sneaky attacker. And, you know, Benavidez isn't the most technical, but he's overwhelming. And I think that he just turns it up over time. And you just think, oh, he's going to stop, but he has a gas tank that doesn't end. So until proven otherwise, I got to ride with Benavidez until he face Morrell or Bivol. Everybody else, I think, for David Benavidez is food, for real. And then we talk about Tank and Frank. Yikes. Yikes, y'all. Like, man, look at Frank. I told y'all Frank was a 140, man. I told you Frank was a 140 pounder, man. Didn't I tell y'all that in previous videos? Didn't I tell y'all he was really a 140, man? So isn't this something that Tank come in at what, 133.2, and Frank come in at 134.4? Tank trying to make a statement, and we ain't seen Tank like, we have not seen Tank that rambunctious, this energetic. It's like, man, you can tell that, man, and this is another part. This is another part where when people try to say, oh man, you glazing, or you this, it's like, no. When you in legal troubles and you was in the system and you got check in and you got to do that, it's a level of your free will that's impacted. That's why I don't know why one of the biggest, I guess you could say ops, one of the biggest ops that do content for one of Tank's ops, I don't see why he don't understand it, because he's in the permanent state until a certain date. He's on a permanent, what you want to call it, permanent special privileges. That's why I didn't understand why I didn't resonate with what was going on. When you on whatever kind, whether you actually doing the time, you talking about you doing the time with somebody might not get out. If they know you popular, they can get some money, or they can get you to do, like, you know, everybody gonna try you unless you gaining respect and you make sure that everything is all copacetic. You're not gonna get through. So the man went and did his little time. I can't even say little time, because even though a lot of people don't see it as what it was, they even misquote how many days it was. But when you look at it, to go actually do some time and be in that environment, when you had fought the biggest fight that year, and that was your second one. You was getting ready to do damage with that next one. All your momentum is boom, because I called him and Ryan the Ascension, and then he got grounded. And now I'm back to, this is Torch. This is showing a lot of, this is checking the block. But when you go to being on house arrest and having something around your ankle and being monitored and having to check in and having to do this, having to do that, still having your obligation, still wanting to train, I think that once all of that stuff got cleared and all that was served and all that, and when he got free, not only just the other thing that he did, the spiritual stuff that he did, the religious stuff that he did, not just that, but just having the law off your back. Having the law of your back, not always looking over, like always having to do this, having the law of your back. You free. You free. Like, I ain't seen him this energetic. When you look at him, how he rolled off into the ring, how he came to the press conference, and he had all the energy, and Frank was the one more laid back, trying to be civilized, trying to be all cool and suave and, you know, deep voice and, you know, poised and all this. You know what I'm saying? Tank was like, man, look, man, I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to take off. So when I seen it this afternoon, I seen Frank, I was just like, yikes. And the way he was talking and slowing, and like he had like stuff in the corner of his mouth, his lips was, and I'm not even roasting, because I've made videos to promote Frank, and I always say, man, this right there, would it come, I'm gonna tell you why even if this wasn't the case, what we're seeing right here on the screen, I'm gonna tell you why, even if this wasn't the case, even if I didn't see this right now, I'm gonna tell you why, and I've already told you in a previous video as to why this happened. I didn't go in depth. I said this might not be my last time talking about it, because I'm gonna talk about it again, and I put something out in the community post. I'm gonna tell you why. But the signs of him at this weigh-in look like, man, he had a hard time. You know, and I don't know if this was ceremonial. I don't know what this was, but you know, I don't know what it was. But to me, the way the lips was looking, the way the eyes was looking, I already said, man, I've said it in previous videos, where when you look at Frank, that part right up under his cheekbone, that gets flat where it looked like there's nothing right there. I said, man, you can tell the man is not fighting. Even though his dimensions are like that, I think it would work for him, but the man need to be fighting at 140. I've been said this. This is fruits and veggies, not that Reggie, not these people that get up here because they got a whole bunch of people sitting and listening, waiting and watching, and they just sit around and steal from everybody else, and they come up acting like they all educated about it when they did microwave they research. This is not that. This is that body work. The man is a 140. They came in at 133 something. They basically said this was just a strategy camp, like to where he just get to practice strategy, because the weight was already whatever. He's already fighting where he need to be. This is why I was saying, I said, man, why these guys don't just, I asked my old head today, I said, man, why these guys don't just fight where they're supposed to fight? He said, man, because they want to have the advantage. They want to, you know, I said, yeah, but is it really an advantage or is it a disadvantage? You can play the game. But when you're a grown man, there's certain things that ain't, you know what I'm saying, you can manipulate all day, but you're going to have something to enhance, or not, you ain't going to be able to win at that game. That's why I'm kind of glad that these belts, the WBA, was it 12 pounds now? So they give you 2 more than the IBF. That was much needed. That was much needed, man. Now we're gonna get, at least for the IBF and the WBA, you already know they serious. You get 10 or you get 12. You gonna have to be right around your fight weight, or if not, because if you tend to go over that or exceed that, because we seen even with Richardson Hitchens, even though a lot of people knock him, Richardson Hitchens went in there and fought that guy Gustavo Lemos under the IBF, because that's what he was in line for, and that was the eliminator for. And as much you want to criticize him, he never touched the canvas. He showed dog, but he did it under the IBF. That's why I was checking everybody when they was all on that one fighter's jock strap. When I was saying, how is he to criticize anybody about weight when Richardson Hitchens went in there under the IBF and this dude never did that? He always had the height, the reach, and the size advantage, and being able to rehydrate past the limit. Denoted in the Regis fight, in which Regis protested. That's why I'm kind of glad about this. Like, this wasn't enacted here. The WBA was not enacted here in this fight. But I've been saying, Frank, it was a 140. Like, this playing with your weight, that's why you got to applaud the guys like Jahai Tucker. You got to give Jahai Tucker his salutes. Why? When I was seeing Jahai Tucker fighting up there where he was fighting, I said, you know what? He fighting up here at 160. That's what him and Devin should be fighting up there. But no, because you want to shrink down. Jahai grabbed he reached down in his pantalones. He figured out he had some cojones. And he jumped up to his more in line with his correct weight. Now, as he's growing and maturing and going against the different styles and, you know what I'm saying, getting used to the punches and doing this and that, you know, he's in there tough. But as he rises, he's rising in his closer to where his weight going to be as a growing person. And he's still young. He probably jump up some more. That's why these fighters got to fight in their fighting weight. But to see Frank like this, that's one thing. This is new information. This is not even why I was saying that this is not even why I thought that the fight was actually going to get out of control. And I'm going to break down why I thought the fight was going to get out of control in favor of Tank. You know, as a guy that actually do research, actually look at everything, actually put out stats. Yeah, I look at CompuBox, not when it's just convenient to win a debate, but I look at these things. Why? Because I cannot compete with everybody else who's winning the popularity and running in the wolf pack. Why? Because I'm not running in I'm not doing politics, and I'm not running in no wolf packs. So what I gotta do? Use raw material, facts, data, stats, my own eyeballs, me judging the fights, me keeping score, me watching this person, me seeing this, me seeing how the maneuvers, me understanding how the business works, and then using that to create the content, not piggybacking off of somebody else's research, not microwaving anybody else's research, not air frying somebody else's research. Frank Martin, like I said the other day in the post, contrary to what you might have heard today, what I said the other day in the post was Frank Martin hadn't fought. He only fought like 2 southpaws. One of them was 6. The last one was 6 years ago. The dude was 1-7. Before, and this is in a professional career. So not only do you 18 fights in, you started late. But then in those 18 fights, you only fought 2 southpaws, of which one was 1-7 when you fought them. So you were still in the building stage, which people do have those ones with the lopsided when you're building. You got to have something to cut your teeth on. And that other person can be like, man, if I catch this dude, I could put one out and then they're going to invite me back. So you are up against a good challenge, but let's be real. You can't fight somebody 6 years ago in 2018, and then before that, and fight a guy that was 1-7 to step up and arguably fight arguably the best southpaw in the game right now. You can't. So let's just say you put him in, you say he's the best. Let's say so I say the best. Let's just say you put him in the top 3. He can't drop no lower than that as far as southpaws right now. You cannot do that where your last guy was 6 years ago and he was 1-7. To going up against this. The other thing is this: Frank Martin do those little throwaway punches. He do these throwaway punches to where he's more athletic than you. He got these combinations where he'll do a combination. One of them punches ain't meant to do nothing or do anything. It's really to get your attention over there, and because he's so fast, he really gets because of practice. You throw that punch, to where you already know, but you throw that punch to get you in position to throw your next punch so that you can fully commit to that. Pattern recognition is somebody that can pick that shit up in real time after about the second or third time, maybe even more. If you fast enough, you might be able to get something off, but they figuring out because you might have some wrinkles or some layers to it where, all right, yeah, this is a throwaway, but it's every now and again, instead of throwing this, I'm gonna throw that. They do those types of things. Once somebody recognizes that pattern and they know when you're getting ready to throw that throwaway punch, they're going to commit to the punch that they know where you're going to be based on your tendencies. And I know Koki, he gave a lovely example about Sabril Matias and the fly swatter thing. And that's applicable to Matias, but I have another one. Some of the punches that Frank actually throw is almost like if you in the truck, like me, I'll be in my work truck. If I'm in my work truck and something get in there like a let's just say a bee or a hornet or a fly, it's one to try to get it just so it can go out either the left way or the right way. It's one to swing to get that bug to go out the left side or the right side. It's kind of difficult because I'm going down the road and the wind is coming, but gotta swing to try to get it outside the vehicle. If I'm sitting still, it might be a little bit easier. Just wait till it get close and kind of ease it on the way out. That's easier. It's one thing to try to swing to actually get the bug out, like out the window. It's another one to try to smash it. That's another difference between Tank and Frank. I would say Frank would swing to try to get the fly out the window. Tank is trying to smash it on the glass so he don't got to deal with it, or smash it wherever he can. You're going to smash it on the dashboard, smash it on the glass, on the seatbelt, wherever he can, on the cup holder. He's going to try to smash it the way he ain't got to deal with it no more. That's a difference. Then I asked myself, okay, well, Tank, he fought Ryan, and then before that, he fought Hector, which was a southpaw. So he had that experience. That was closer, and Hector actually had won a belt. He gave Cobra his issue. So he had the more recent experience with the southpaw. The other thing is that when I looked at all of the different categories between them two, I did it an honest assessment. I said, okay, Frank he's slightly taller. He has a slightly longer reach. Does he have more power? No. Does he have more speed? No. Is his boxing IQ higher? No. Is his footwork better? No. Is he stronger? Depending on what kind of strength. He might be stronger. If you say, hey man, it's a wheelbarrow over there, he might be able to pick that. He might be stronger in that aspect where he's gonna be able to pick up more weight in the wheelbarrow, whatever. So he might have the strength. But it is physically, scientifically proven in science that things tend to perform differently when they are being observed. It is a scientific fact to where things they have shot in guns, they have done tests to where they shoot it like a ping pong ball. They shoot things or do something over and over and over again, and they have seen that the balls or whatever they're testing react different when they are being observed. Even when it's a camera, because it's optics. It's because it's energy. A lot of people don't really understand that. In order for when you see something, it's in your eyeballs. Your eyeballs are sending out a signal and it's coming back into your mind and it's actually receiving something. That is energy that you don't see, but has to be true because your eyeballs are on your head, but you can look at a white table and know that it's white. How do you know that? Because your eyeballs are sending something out and it's bringing something back. That's energy. When there are more eyeballs actually watching something or somebody or anything, that's why you think when people get around other people, you be like, why are you acting funny? It's scientifically proven that people act different when there are more people watching them. And you can say, oh yeah, everybody has this moment or whatever, but it's scientifically proven. So when the magnitude is better, that's even more of it. So not only the last Southpaw was 6 years, he has you in singularity. Every category you can say you're on the lower end of the category. Comprehensively and where you at, good fighter. Good fighter. When him and Virgil Ortiz were at the same level, he dropped Virgil Ortiz and beat Virgil Ortiz in the amateur. When everybody thought, including myself, thought that Michelle Rivera was going to outbox Frank Martin based on the performances that we seen from Michelle Rivera, Frank Martin showed that there was levels. So what that means? That means that sometimes if you're getting back down to your guttural instinct, Frank has the capacity to rise above and do something better. Because nobody thought he was going to beat Michelle Rivera based on boxing. Nobody thought that. And he actually dropped him. And Michelle Rivera popped hot. He didn't cry about it. So Frank got cojones. Frank can, if it's one of them deals with Tango in there, he get distracted, he get to talking to the crowd, get the, goofing off or playing around. How some people showboat and it's not just strictly business. Frank, in the moment, can do some things that make it very hard. And then Styles. If somebody got your number, he got you. So Frank wants to run with this story about what happened in sparring. And if he's saying that he got Frank, if he's saying he got Tank's number, if he got his number, he got his number. I'm just thinking it was a little bit of embellishment. It was a little bit of, I got to sell this thing. And that's the way they do it. Because it's different, once again, when you're being observed. You're being watched. Scientifically proven that things in real life, not on internet, in real life, things tend to behave different. You're getting this is torch. He's going to get blue flame treatment. That's not just a strip club down in Atlanta. That's the hottest part of a flame. That's what he's getting. And to have this start where he's looking like that, I mean, you could see Tank from the way around his eyes was a little bit red, but he was down at 133. Like, he was down at 133. So that was really the sign. That was really to send a message to say, look, we ain't playing. Like, I haven't seen this side. I don't know what kind. I don't know what's gonna happen in this fight. I was saying 5 to 8, but I might be saying like 3. If I would have placed my bet yesterday like I was supposed to, my new card just came. If I would have placed my bet the other day like I was supposed to, I would have already been locked in from 5 to 8, even though I didn't want to disrespect, because I'm not disrespecting Frank whatsoever. I'm just stating the facts. Because this is them fruits and veggies, not them Reggies. So before somebody hop in the comment section and try to be rude and say, oh, it's like, no, I promote Frank. This is where I promote Earl, even though Earl don't give us nothing. He's one of the biggest Earl fans out there. He don't give me anything to do anything with. So that's my take on it. That's what I see. And I'm going to get to these comments and come out now. What's going on, y'all? It feels good to be back, man. We only got like Cookie Monster. Salute Cookie Monster. Earl Jones. Yo. What's up, Earl Jones? Cookie. His twin. Cookie. Facts, body work. Body work. Welcome back, body work. Good to see you. Yeah, man. Champion Sports Boxing. Thanks for your continued support. That's why I came out with this. This is why I came out with this right here. I I came up with that, man, because I people love the content. They love to use it. They love the beats. It's like I'm going crazy now. I'm like, man, if you like it that much, man, let me be a part of it. Let me partake in some of the breathery. If you digging it like that, will you using? Let me holler at me with some bread. And I have notifications you can update. That's why I appreciate people like Champion Sports Boxing, man, who's a member. You know, I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. Body work, you going live for the fights tomorrow, or you with the boo? I was thinking about going live. It just depends on how we want to do it, because you know, if I put up the big screen, it'll be in the back. But if I put it up where I'm at now, it's a TV here. I can even have it right here. So I got a TV right here, a TV right there, the big screen all the way in the back. So I could do it. Naturally, when I call fights, I can do it with the TV right here. That's a big TV right here too. So I could call it. You know what I'm saying? I want to see. I probably will. I probably will though. I appreciate y'all for showing up. I know how people feel about the lives when I don't do it all the time, but it's just like, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I get tired of people using the stuff, man. It's draining to me. You know, I think it's one of the most disrespectful things for somebody to wait around for you to sit there and do all the heavy work. It's like them dung beetles. I tell y'all, that's why I say, man, humans are not too far away from animals, man. It's like them dung beetles. Because you know, dung beetles, they roll up piles of shit. You know what I'm saying? They get their good little pile of shit and they roll it all the way up. They get it all the way up to the top of the hill, and then guess what another dung beetle do? It's waiting around right there in the cave, and they just come out and they just knock the other dung beetle off and they get to roll it. So after the dung beetle then did all that shit and went all the way uphill with it, they done rolled the shit all the way up the hill. They did the tough part, the heavy lifting. You know, that part of the mountain when you're going up and you getting up over, they wait till you do all that work and get to the top, and they run out of the cut and grab it and then run down the hill with it. That shit bothered me, man. So I'm like, man, I'm not, you know, I do my regular videos or whatever, but I started seeing, man, you wouldn't believe some of the places I seen doing it, man. I'm like, is it like, are y'all mocking me? I be thinking I'm crazy, and then I don't want to be petty. So sometimes I have to take a break, and I have to allow myself to be a fan, man, because you can't call everybody out who's doing it, but it's a lot of people doing it. And if I'm gonna get on here and just keep talking about it all the time and complain about it, I'd just rather not be live. I'd rather just give you what's on my mind about that box or that, letting you know I'm paying attention. Yeah, I'm paying attention. I know what's going on. I'm breaking it down more than what because I told y'all. This is the fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. Fact-based content. Statistics. Not just when they're popular, not just to win a debate, not just to win an argument. To support why or why not, or the realism behind what's going on in boxing. And if I haven't built up any equity in you, go back and listen to all those Sabril Matias videos that I was doing. We were promoting him, and I was walking it all down the lawn. I said, don't get distracted by the circus. Don't get distracted by the circus. And I told y'all what was going on with the circus. I told y'all what the real was. I told y'all who the real was. In a way, Tank Matias. Then I told y'all who the untouchable was. Boots, Matias, David Morrell. Everybody want to get distracted. Everybody want to, oh man, he said this and they said this, and what do you think about that? Or to get this. They'll run by somebody like Boxing Gems, get his analysis, take his shit. They'll run by Greg Hackers, get his analysis. That's what they do. They run by, they listen to that shit, regurgitate it out there on their channel, and they get bread from it. They do that to all the little guys. And if you're not part of the wolf pack, they don't care. It's open game. It's open game. So I said, you know what? Let me be a fan. I'm still doing my stuff. I got content for days. Got to make it work for me. You feel me? I'm gonna put the link out, man. I want to get everybody, especially my man Aaron Jones. That's my day one, man. Aaron Jones been around. He knows. He can tell you. He can tell you. He can tell you. I don't even gotta tell you. I met Aaron Jones. You know, it's been a couple years now. He's one of my day ones that came in and was telling me, man, you be putting it, man, the stuff you be saying and this and this and that. He stayed around. He stuck around. He seen the growth, all of the little editing stuff, the music, all of the little kinks. I was working it out. I go through all these trials and tribulations, then people, they just take the shit. All this building up, all this refinement, they just take that shit, run with it, get paid for it. I'm talking about a lot of people. He been around. I'm gonna put this link out. I want to hear from Aaron Jones. I know Aaron Jones. I know you crunk about this. We've been waiting. Because we always knew we knew that Frank was a good fighter. We knew that, okay, this is a good fight. Holistically, a good match, we're getting a good match. But all this stuff that people saying, and you know, we know that what these people are in disguise, all these Frank fans that came out of the woodworks, we already know who they are. We already know where they came from. We already know how they sprout up. We already know. I think I told y'all who they were. That's why, let me put this up. This is why I didn't understand why, when you look at the guy on the right, everybody wanted Frank to fight the guy on the right. And I myself included said, I called it a duck, a maneuver, however you want to politically, whatever. Call it. I said, yeah, that was a maneuver to not fight Shakur. And I thought that maybe that should have been the best. You fight Shakur, get that experience under your belt, you know, as a southpaw, and then, you know, then you move on. He said, hey, and Coach Calvin came back and said, hey, if they wanted to offer this, you know, and Coach Calvin referred to it as peanuts. I didn't. He said they want to offer him peanuts, and we want to offer more, blah, blah, blah. So everybody was cool when Frank was getting ready to fight Shakur. Everybody hated when Tank is fighting Frank. I don't get that either. Because people be misquoting Tank's resume as far as the weight divisions. Shakur is a 3-division champion as well. So people like to point that out. Some people don't even know that, who follow him religiously. He's a 3-division weight champion as well. But everybody misquote Tank's pedigree and what he was able to do in the ring in his championship. And that's the Cold War. This is what everybody wants. Ultimately. If we keeping it a buck. That's what everybody wanted. But once the young Lord Devin Haney, once he let me see. Once the young Lord Devin Haney took his L, man, you got, man, it's a dude on YouTube, man. Let me see. I'm trying to find this thumbnail. As I can show you what's happening right now and how this thing got boosted. Let me see. It's on the video. If you've seen this video, you've seen it before. But it's a dude on YouTube, man. I swear, even though I bumped heads with him a little bit and I went at him, you know what I'm saying? It was like, I still had I had a smidge of respect. I used to have a smidge of respect for this guy. You know what I'm saying? But I seen some of the thumbnails and some of the stuff he's been pointing out. I have zero respect for this guy now. Like, I have zero respect for this guy now. Like, none. Like, you'll be hard pressed for me to get like any respect for this guy after the stuff he been putting out. I'm like, yeah, homie, that you going outside of boxing and boxing talk and all of that with what you got going on, man. And for you to act the way you act, we know something is up with you, man. I'm waiting for one of these content creators to go ahead and start donning that rainbow, man. Go ahead and put it up, man. Go ahead and put the rainbow up, man. I don't know why you don't just don the rainbow. You done already tasted it. We know you have. I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see this because I've been talking about it and I haven't been here for a while. But I want y'all to see this thumbnail. So we can see how we arrived here with everybody acting like they got amnesia. But yeah, man, it's this one guy. Y'all already know. If y'all seen the videos, you know what I'm saying? Y'all seen the videos when I used to really go at him. Like, I said, man, you know what? It ain't no need because most of the time when you start going at people, that kind of like feeds them. It gives them something to get up and see, okay, who's on the other side? Who got a problem? So they got something. So it kind of feeds them. When you stop doing that, you don't feed them no more. What you don't feed can't grow. You can't grow, you can't survive. You can't survive, But the ugly stuff I've been seeing this dude do these last couple of days and weeks, man, I'm like, and that's just in glancing blows. That's just glancing here and there. Cause I'm like, I can't put that stuff in my broker like that. I don't like a lot of that, like no more. Like when you mature, you don't like that. You know, so, but this dude, man, I don't know why you don't dude, why you don't just, you got 4 initials, man. Why you don't just don the rainbow, man? We know you tasted it. We know you tasted that rainbow, bro. I don't know why you just what they say, I ain't gonna say the real one, but I'm gonna say get out of there. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You see all these rappers, they still won't do it. They won't outright do it. It's like it's a whole community of support. Your channel will do mad numbers. Just go ahead and get out of there and just cause it's getting ridiculous now. It's like it's way outside of boxing, man, and it's like it ain't really none of my business. For real, I'm just like I be trying to understand where a lot of these dumbass fans be popping up and where they be saying all this stuff and where they get all of these things that they be saying. You gotta go. Remember that day when I said I had to go and do some extermination? When you got to get down in that crawl space and you got to go find the nest. That was the last time I said I'm gonna get down in there and I'm gonna get in that crawl space and I'm gonna try to eradicate the nest. That was the last time I said after that. And then I was like, I thought maybe, you know what I'm saying, you would look at yourself and do some self-inventory and say, hey, you know, I'm out of control, but nope. I guess because nothing ever happened, you know what I'm saying? Nothing never really happens, you know, typically. Nothing never really happens, then you just feel like you can just go even harder and just like, I don't know why you don't just go ahead and don the rainbow. Darn it. Own it. Well, it's not trying to let me download that. Let me see which thumbnail I want to get rid of. I think I called it smoke and mirrors because the one at the bottom was the mirrors. And that was the smoke back then. But this one ain't going to use that one. But I'm going to show y'all why. I'm going to show y'all why all these who are these real who these real like these outspoken coming out with these outrageous takes and all this stuff that is a little bit beyond having your opinion and rooting for your guy. That's one thing, but all these outrageous stuff that people are saying, I'm gonna tell y'all where this come from because I told y'all who was the top 5. I told you who was number 1 in the top 5 toxic fan bases, right? This is why. This is why. It would like once that happened, once that the calibration happened, this would happen. Haney fans went in the 4 different directions. And like Tank said, Frank was the front runner. Cause look at what everybody's saying now. Oh man, cause if Loma next, and if he ducking Shakur. You see all these Shakur fans, they just they out of control right now. It's like, man, like we know that that's the Cold War, but god dang, man, like doing the most. But this is where all the Frank fans came from. These are actually a portion. This is a fourth, a quarter, 25er of where these Haney fans. Now some of them, well, maybe not 25, because you still have some Haney fans, but that's where they in. They either pledge allegiance to one of these 4 because they're hoping that one of these 4. That's why I believe all of these guys are on that list. I'm hoping they are within reason, because if it's a 6 to 7, 8 fight deal, these 4 gotta be on it. So right now, Frank is just in the front right now. But these other guys are on there. So they're gonna once Frank, if whatever happens as a result of the fight tomorrow on 615, whatever happens, the Frank fans now, which are the real Haney fans, that 4th is going to divide over into either T.O., Loma, or Shakur. And I'm probably betting they're going to either do it for Loma because as a Haney fan, they want to see Tank go see, I guess, his second worst nightmare in Loma. Because he made it very, very clear that him and Shakur were best friends and they wasn't going to fight. So this is where all these Tank fans come from. They are Haney fans split up amongst these. This is why the Shakur fan base has went up and risen. Shakur, once he said something, once he said, oh man, it's all good, he did that internet love with Devin Haney, oh man, he had Haney fans. So right behind Frank, they probably gonna go with Shakur because they always say they don't like T.O. because of his father. But they didn't understand why people didn't like Devin because of his father. But I digress. They're either gonna go to Loma because he was his second hardest test. That's where these Frank fans and all these crazy narratives and all this outrageous stuff that everybody's doing, that's where they came from. That's a faction of the Haney fan. What did y'all think about this? Haney fans spawned into Frank and Paro fans. Yup, and Paro fans. Haney fans want to see Tank and Matias lose so bad. Exactly. They root them both equally. Facts, Koki. Facts. Haney career would be about wanting guys to lose, fight than unify. Devin said he wants Paro to beat Matias. Devin rather see his competition lose than go after them. Yeah, I almost thought about banning Devin Haney talk on my channel, man. Like I told y'all what he was, when he was, and how, and I've been walking it down just for somebody to come back after all these years and do a documentary, and everybody be like, oh, who would have imagined? I was like, that shit pissed me off so bad. I was like, people like who they get the truth from. Well, we already knew who they was. JDL Boxing, what's good, bodywork? Salute, JDL. Salute. But I want to see. There you go. I said I was gonna condense the lives, you know what I'm saying? I got it down to an hour. I done went over what I needed to go over. We done went over all of the matches. We done went over what I think about each fight, who set up. I think Romain Villa, he got special delivery. Romain Villa might get rid of that guy first, second round. They want to get him back. They want to build him back up bad. Because I don't see how that dude gonna get out of there. Benavidez, we gonna see what Benavidez is. If that monster really come out, we gonna see. But Vosdick, man, he's skilled. He is skilled. Tank and Frank, I'm not gonna beat that horse. I missed what you said. I just got here. Oh, in regards to Tank and Frank, bottom line is Frank Martin, he has not been prepared for somebody like Tank. Life has prepared him for some tough challenges, but boxing skill wise, and the only way to really break it down is like, even in HVAC, right? We could do something every day in HVAC, but you might come up on a Nexus machine. So if it's a Nexus machine, conceptually, it works the same way. Like conceptually, it's like, yeah, it's the same. It's a refrigeration cycle. It might be different refrigerant. Might be different safeties. Might be different controls. Might be higher voltages. Like all of those things. But if you have not dealt with a Nexus in general in a machine, you only seen one or dealt with one like twice before, you might not be expected to fully be able to grasp that and fix the problem right then and there, because that's a special piece of equipment. Frank Martin fought a southpaw. The last time he fought one was 6 years ago in 2018. The guy was 1-7. Before that, the other guy right before that, I mean, he wasn't a tank. And I said that I gave the comparison about how Frank is going to punch to, like, if a fly flies in the vehicle, he's going to swing to get it either out that window or out that window. Tank is going to swing to smash it wherever he can, on the windshield, you know, on the dash, on the seat. He's trying to smash it. When you look at his combinations, he has this thing where, and you see when that little shot when he was a little kid, he has this thing where he knows his range and everything. So he knows that at certain times, I know one of them is, well, when I be watching and trying to do these little edits and stuff like that, the way it looks from the perspective that the camera see it, looks like when he goes to step over, if he steps over, it aligns. It's just like AI when he got that ball and he's getting ready to cross it over. He's looking at your body as he dribbles that ball this way, and he's looking for, soon as he go like this, he's looking for your body to do something so he know which way to go with the ball. That's what Tank has. So when he start walking into range, there are predetermined punches to where he feels like when he scans across and he gets that perfect, when it gets right there to that perfect opening, he has it timed where he's going to explode with that punch. He's going to fully commit, which separates them from the ones that want to keep it clean and box and let the judges do it. That's the difference. He's going to take a chance. Only thing is, he's been taking them kind of chances and doing those kind of things to where it's like you almost can't stop it once he figure it out. So I said that, man, it's gonna come down to not just experience, but the fact that Frank has not fought a southpaw in 6 years. He sparred a lot, but then you're not sparring with the same ounce gloves, and it's not Tank. So I said that his job is to make Tank move, don't run, but make Tank move. Make him work for it. Stuff like that. But I said, man, it's nothing really personal against Frank for me anyway, because I promote Frank. I think he's a good fighter. I think that he started late, but the fact that in 18 fights he only fought 2 southpaws, and one of them was 6 years ago, and Tank, you discount Ryan, he fought one in that February against Hector Garcia, who put Chris Colbert on his tail. So I said it's going to not styles, but stances also make fight. This is the Southpaw Showdown, and I think Tank punched through stuff. Frank has power, but then I also broke it down to where when you evaluate each singular, if we break it down singular, the way I have to do it because don't have a lot of popularity like that. You have to look at the facts. You have to look at the stats, the numbers, the history, the data, like everything else. How they make almanacs and know that at this time the sun's gonna be here, and more than likely this is the same way they do it. They know what season based on history. Got to break it down. When you look at it categorically, who has more power? This guy. Who has more speed? This guy. Who has a higher boxing IQ? This guy. Who has the height? This guy. Who has the reach? This guy. Who might be stronger? Maybe this guy. So when you look on a categorical basis, if it's 10 categories, Tank is outside of height and reach and maybe strength. He got the other 7 categories. Hands down, no argument. Better feet, faster hands, more explosiveness, more power, higher boxing IQ, more experience. And I capped it all off by saying that it is scientifically proven that when, in science, that when objects are being observed, they behave different. Period. And he's never seen this magnitude of eyeballs. Now he does have potential because of what he did. He does have potential because of what he did with he got potential of what he did with what's the name? What in the world? He got potential from what he did with Michelle Rivera. But that's pretty much it, man. That's when I went over JDL. But that's pretty much what I had. I think we in for a good night. And I'm gonna keep it subjective. I'm gonna keep it about Tank and Frank. And this is the last thing, like knowing when we looked at him. This is the last thing we actually seen. This is the last thing we actually seen from Frank. You be the judge, man. You tell me. I had 5 to 8. I say maybe 3. I don't know, man. Maybe maybe Tank might get careless. Maybe he might showboat. Maybe he might do a little thing where he be talking to the crowd and doing that. If he get to doing that, Frank is sharp enough and quick enough to capitalize on it. So I don't think he's gonna do that. But you don't know. I haven't seen this Tank. This explosive, energetic, free mind Tank. He looked like he been in the lab. He did that backflip. He did a no-hand backflip, like right on cue, like turned around, like right there. Like, so it looked like it's go time. It looked like he TTG. It looked like Frank, man, he had to get back and hydrate and do some other things and get his weight up. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I really had, y'all. That's all I really had, man. But I hope y'all enjoying the fight. I probably will be calling it. It just depends. I know my lady gonna want to watch it, but we'll probably put it on the big screen up here about where the tools is at. But that's it, y'all. If y'all really rock with me, man, support the channel, man. Support the channel, man. Like, people are stealing. Support the channel. Anyways, y'all, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga doing? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to body work.